Happy Saturday, everybody. Sports Guy Chris coming back at you with another bubble update and a quick peek at the NCAA tournament field. We are to the last Saturday of the regular season, and everything is starting to heat up now. As a matter of fact, we'll have most major conferences and mid-major conferences finishing up between today and tomorrow with their regular season. We actually have a couple conference tournaments that have already been underway. And our first two tickets to the dance will be punched today as San Diego State, number 5 San Diego State, will take on Utah State in the Mountain West title game. And then we've got Belmont and Murray State going at it as well. Two very good teams, the top 2 seeds in that conference for a bid as well. So a couple of good games there. Keep an eye out. Utah State, of course, is a bubble team right now, and they can, take the suspense out of the equation for Selection Sunday by officially punching their ticket by taking out San Diego State today. So is just getting to the Mountain West title game enough for Utah State? We'll see. They're 25-8 right now. They did drop a few spots in the net. They went from 38 to 43. So I would tend to lean toward they probably just need to win this game today to punch their ticket and get in. So we'll see what happens, but keep an eye on the Aggies and the Aztecs when they go at it later today. But real quick, I want to give an update to the bubble. There wasn't a whole lot in terms of last night with games that impacted the bubble, but there were a couple of games yesterday of note. One was in the Atlantic 10 Conference. Richmond was visiting Duquesne, both of those teams on the bubble. I had Richmond in going into the game. Duquesne kind of worked himself back onto the bubble thanks to a very good actual road record. Richmond went on the road. They were able to get the victory, and really they got a big boost to their net rating as well. They went up 7 spots from 44 to 37. That was a big boost. Strength of schedule went up a couple notches, but a big road win for the Spiders, and for Duquesne, they really needed that win to kind of stay in the bubble mix. I have not burst their bubble as of yet, although they are at the very back end, on the very, very last fringes of the bubble. I don't really believe the Blue Demons can get in short of winning the A10 tournament, but you never know. We'll see what happens, but it's really more about the Spiders and the win for Richmond kind of helping to solidify themselves a little bit heading in the conference tournament week. The win, the subsequent, boost to the net ratings, and the fact that they were able to get a road victory over a, fellow bubble team were all big factors. So Richmond actually slid up a spot yesterday from number 11 to number 10 off of that win as far as the seeding goes. And part of that had to do with Northern Iowa. The Panthers were actually upset in the quarterfinals of the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. A shocker, really, there. They were blown out, actually, 77 to 56 by Drake, who was just the 8 seed. And although Drake had a fairly good overall record, I believe it was 18-13, they had a losing record within the conference at 8-10. So for Northern Iowa, who was 25-5 going into the game, they dropped firmly onto the bubble. They have a net rating of 47. The strength of schedule is not quite as good at 107. So, we'll see what happens with the Panthers. But our first madness, so to speak, going on yesterday, of course, now Loyola of Chicago jumps in as the top remaining seed in that conference tournament. Y'all remember them from a couple years ago when they went on their run and made it all the way to the Final Four. So now all the Panthers can do is sit and wait. I have them at the very back end of the bubble, even despite the regular season conference championship and the solid net rating. Their whole resume basically consists of a road victory over Colorado, which is a good one, but other than that, there's not a whole heck of a lot on the resume for the Panthers. So it's going to be a sit and wait game, but I think it's going to be difficult now that the last impression they made with the committee was getting blown out by 20 to a team that had a losing record within their own conference. Well, all the other bubble teams are going to have opportunities, whether it be this weekend and then next week in their conference tournaments, to impress the committee and make their push to get in. So I think at the end of the day, it's probably going to be just not quite enough for Northern Iowa. Had they even been able to get to their conference title game and got upset there, might be a different story. But there's just such a long ways between now and Selection Sunday that it's probably going to be a little bit too little for the Panthers to get in. But we'll see what happens with them. So. As far as the bubble goes, that was really the only significant changes. Of course, Indiana is playing right now in a big game against Wisconsin. The Hoosiers are up in the last four bye territory along with UCLA and Indiana. Liberty was boosted up to an 11 seed, again off the tails of that Northern Iowa loss. Yale slid up into the 12 spot to take Liberty's spot there. So Yale and Stephen F. Austin are your two mid-majors that are slated in at the 12s. Your last four in remain Cincinnati, Texas, Arizona State, and Purdue. Stanford remains the first team out of the field. Stanford is at Oregon tonight. Keep an eye on that game. I believe the Cardinal can work themselves into the field and probably with some room to spare with a victory at Oregon tonight. It is a massive opportunity for Stanford. If they lose, they will finish just 9-9 in the Pac-12, 20-11 overall, despite a solid top 30 net rating. This is a win they really need to have. They have one other road win of note on the season. It was at UCLA earlier in the Pac-12 schedule. It was a blowout. It was a 15-point win. But if you can throw on a road win at Oregon as well, I think that would probably solidify Stanford into the field, at least heading into conference tournament week next week. So that is a rundown of what we have going on. Of course, there is a full slate today and tomorrow in the world of college basketball with teams finishing up their regular season, looking to capture regular season conference titles and so on. And of course, like I touched on, we're going to have our first 2 tickets to the dance awarded today when San Diego State and Utah State go to work, and of course Belmont and Murray State. Keep an eye on those games. I will be back tomorrow morning with a full video and a full tournament rundown as far as my projections and where I see everybody heading into the final day of the regular season. So happy Saturday, everybody. Enjoy all of the great games that we have going on today. And Sports Guy Chris, back at you tomorrow with a full tournament projection and bubble update. Happy Saturday, everybody.